So hey guys, this is Shoibanji and I'm back with another episode of interviews. And today we have someone who is a figure and also a fitness competitor, and we are going to learn a lot from her today. We have Nika krusic. Nika, I may start this interview by asking you about how you got introduced to lifting and something about your early life.
Well, it's pretty interesting. I was always in sports, but fitness came into my life when I was around 17. Um, and it was just because my knees were so weak, my legs were so weak that it basically just hurt. So my doctor recommended me to go to the gym. And that's when everything changed. I started really enjoying training. And since then, it was just a daily routine.
So, Nika, you have competed both in fitness and also in figure, right? So, both
Yes.
this division, what are the division, what are the differences in both this division and in terms of physique and also the posing, if we say?
Well, basically, when it comes to figure, it's posing, you have the mandatory walkout routine. So you just walk onto the stage, you do your free posing, and then you have all the comparison posing. When it comes to fitness, they actually judge your performance. So there are mandatory elements from gymnastics, and the crazier it gets, the better. So we say there's a huge difference when it comes to prep and when it comes to competition itself, because the fitness routine is so demanding. For example, most of the fitness girls, they train for 3 to 4 hours per day because you have to have the sufficient muscle that you look competitive on the stage in the comparison round. But 2/3 of the score is the free routine. So the free routine has to contain handstands, splits. You have to have a certain amount of conditioning and endurance. So it's completely another level, but it's the most fun, the most interactive category out there. It's just another level. When it comes to figure, you just, from my perspective, it's an amazing part because we have both have the same comparison rounds. Both categories look for the same amount of muscle, but at the end of the day, you just have to have that extra push to do the routine. That's why I think it's hard for girls to decide for fitness. Most of them are ex gymnasts. Most of them are ex cheerleaders. So that's why it's a bit of a hustle when it comes to competing in fitness. But honestly, it's totally worth it because you have the most fun. And all the girls are like crazy, crazy when it comes to the stage. They're all like together because we share so much experience. We share so much injuries, for example. So we're there to support each other. It's really, really an interactive category.
So, Nika, is there any also weight limit in certain categories that you are in the fitness and in the figure? Certain weight limiting at all?
No, women don't have any weight limits. So it doesn't really matter in which category you fall. There is no weight limits. But the lighter you are in fitness, the easier things get. That's what I experienced last year in Arnold. Like we brought my weight really, really down and into conditioning. When figure is more about, it doesn't really matter as long as you look big, a little bit bigger, fuller. But as I said, 2/3 of the whole score is your fitness routine. So it's worth to put the weight a little bit down, look a little bit smaller, but the gymnastic elements gets way, way better and easier.
So, Nika, like how has this whole transformation journey, like to put on muscle, how hard it has been for you? You have been training for how many years right now?
It's going to be around 12, 13 years in the gym. So, well, from my perspective, for someone who really wants to put on muscle, they just have to be consistent with their nutrition, with their training. How fast will it happen? It completely depends on a person, how much effort they're willing to put in. Um, I was never the kind of person who would focus on getting that muscle mass super fast. I always I always had an athletic body, so for me it's the part of training more than the part of, oh, I want to get big. But probably it's just the consistency, like the whole thing around, oh, you're gonna get big in 6 to 7 months. The difference is you can get big in 6 to 7 months, but the quality of muscle might not be the same. The density of muscle shows after years of training, after years of proper nutrition. So it, it's just the consistency. We say in my country, the older the wine, the better. So here's the same. The older the body, the better if you train it.
Okay, so Nika, what do you think about this myth surrounding like women who lift, that they should only depend more on cardio rather than and not pick up much weights?
A myth. We have to keep inspiring women to train for life, because strength training gives so many benefits in all aspects of life. When going on a treadmill, it's, from my perspective, waste of time. If you're not if a treadmill is the only thing you're doing in the gym, it's a waste of time, probably. For someone who wants to change their physique, for sure they need to pick up some load. I would say the heavier it gets, the better. But everyone has their own perspective of what to do in the gym. But yeah.
Do you think like it's not only to lift weights, but also someone should also focus on their flexibility and mobility?
Well, mobility and flexibility, completely the same thing. But to have the mobility to actually live your life to fullest and not injure yourself if you do a move that's gonna be like fast. For sure, we have to work on that. That's why I recommend 15 minutes of just not stretching, but just basic moves, going overhead with your hand, going into a deep squat position. I'm sorry about
Sorry about that. That's tiger. That's a cat, right?
I have to, yes. So the mobility part of life, of course, you have to have some mobility to be able to live to the fullest, especially if you want to do some sports out of fitness, out of the gym. Definitely work on that.
I've seen your cat in the Instagram videos.
Yes, he's the superstar. He's the superstar of my Instagram.
So Nika, like I think the last time you have been competing in that, you have competed in India. That's some competition I forgot, but you've been through injuries before that, right? So like I want to talk about your story. Like you have been through so many injuries, you still competed and you after the injury.
Well, so it was we had like few injuries, but last year it was the severe one. Um, I tore my shoulder in May 2019, and I was planning to compete in India in November. It was Mumbai Shuru Classic. Um, it was kind of devastating because I really wanted to do the fitness routine, and I really pushed my training through pain, or literally through pain, just to get on the stage. So the first 2 months, I was still very confident that I'm gonna recover, but just the reality of the injury, it was so big that that's Tiger. It was so big that I actually had to reconsider if I'm going to train in fitness or figure. But then at the end of the day, the fitness routine was cancelled, so I just stepped over to the figure. Well, I think he wants to be in the spot today. Overcoming all the injuries, it gets discouraging, especially in the first like few weeks. You're still kind of confident, I can pull it off, but the closer you get to the competition, it's like maybe I'm not able to, and then you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it my best because I've come this far. So if you get this far and you have the passion for it, you're gonna probably go into it all out. Sometimes not, that's not the smartest. We learned that the hard way this year, last year. But I had the like luck. I was working with 4 different physiotherapists and 3 different doctors. My shoulder is still torn because I have to have a surgery if I want to compete in fitness again. But I think I'm just going to transition to figure because it's going to be probably the safest thing to do. This is how it is.
So Nika, like, what was your experience like coming up in India?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. We didn't sleep for the first 2 nights because we weren't used to the noise. Um, but like all in all, it's just like the people are so nice. Like everywhere you go, it's just like they're just shocked because of course you're shredded and you're like very, very muscular and everything is showing. Wherever we went, people are taking pictures with me. I was like, oh wow, why? What's going on? That was probably the
The
fun
feeling of
part.
a celebrity.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. Um, but the whole competing part, and the whole expo part, that was also like insane how many people were there, because most of the time competitions, when it comes to amateur level, like the support, and the people who watching it is not as many as the pro level. So that was like, it was full. So first time it was like I'm standing on the stage and it's full, it's packed. And you go to the stage and the adrenaline kicks in and say, oh, we have to pull it together. We have to work on this. So it was really fun. It was really, really fun. My plan for this year was actually to compete in Shuru Classic again, but unfortunately we are in a situation that I cannot leave the country. So my fingers are crossed for next year. Maybe this will be a good time to just to pull off a little bit more muscle mass for figure and practice.
Nika, can you like tell about this, like the last days before competition, means your peak week, like how does everything goes for an athlete, like from the water, we have heard about water manipulation and all the things to look shredded on the stage. So can you talk about that, like about the peak week, last days before competition?
Well, my peak week. So I went through few right now. They all depend on what kind of category I'm competing in. So for figure, it's of course everything is focused on your body, how you look like. So there was some water manipulation there. When it comes to salt, there was not a lot of changes, just because I cramp a lot. So as soon as I put my heels on, I usually just cramp. When I start posing, when I do my training practices, I start cramping like really fast when it comes to calves and quads. So I don't do much water and salt manipulation. But when it comes to fitness category, we don't do any manipulation with water at all, uh, because of the routine. Um, it just takes so much from you that it's nearly impossible to have like the same protocol for both categories. There's like such a difference, because for fitness category you have a 90-second routine. You have to be explosive, you have to be fast, you have to be focused. I'm sorry. um, but when it comes to figure, you can play a bit with the water, but I'm not a believer into manipulation. Like if you're shredded, your shredded shows. um, so yeah, it was not that much water manipulation, salt manipulation. Peak weeks are probably my favorite ones. I don't know why, but it's just the excitement, it builds up, because usually I take time for my prep. So my prep for Arnold was around 21 weeks, when the India prep was more around 16 weeks, because I was already leaner. I came in leaner to this competition. So the last 2 weeks, I'm just so energetic. I can't wait to step on the stage. It's not because it's gonna be over soon, but it's more about, yes, we're finally doing it, like after all this time. So the peak week for me, usually it's very, very relaxed. I'm not really nervous. I just follow the plan as far as my coaches line it out for me. So it's very important to also have a coach that understands the part of peak week that fits your personality.
Nika, like, how is that feeling of like finally after working so hard, like finally we have won, we have at least got something back in this competition. So, like, how is that feeling of winning after practicing so hard, like putting so much in? So, how is that feeling of?
You know, the winning itself, I never won. I got second few times. So, but it is winning because you overcome so many things. Um, you gave up so many things. You gave up time with your friends, your family, um, and to have all these people support you from day one. uh, it's incredible, because this is something that you really like to do, and just to step on the stage, it's incredible. It's an incredible feeling to share the stage with these people who share the same mentality. Most of the time, bodybuilding fitness is such an introvert sport. Let's say it can be a lonely sport. Um, so when you're finally in this stage with all these girls that have the same mentality, they're pushing through the same problems, it's so rewarding. That part is rewarding, but to actually win, I think I'm just gonna like cry. It's gonna be through the roof. So yeah.
Actually, like you were like every athlete, like win or lose, second or first, being there on stage, I think that's the biggest like feeling. Like I have worked so hard, like I've done so much, and even if it's third place, I think it's a great feeling because you have worked hard, right? Third, second.
Definitely, definitely. Definitely. Even I was competing in Spain, and I should be competing in fitness, but I busted my ankle on my birthday. So I sprained my ankle so badly that I couldn't jump for a few months. And of course, fitness routine is all about jumps. So we said, okay, we come this far. Let's just step on the stage. I wasn't able to wear heels until the last week before the competition. And I got on the stage. I ended up 7. I was limited with cardio options. So I really couldn't pull off the best conditioning. And I ended up 7th, and I was just so happy that I actually stepped on the stage, because I know there's so many people who don't have that opportunity. Like there's so many people who wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm so grateful, because it was really the best experience. It gives you that humble feeling that you're not invincible, but you can still conquer. So that was probably the best experience when it comes to my competitions, because it was insane. It was insane. I was like, you know what, we're gonna do the best we can, just to step on the stage, and it's rewarding. Stepping on the stage, it's rewarding.
So Nika, like, what are your plans right now, like for the future competitions?
Well, the the plans are definitely to keep training, practice what I preach. For me, the competition part is more of a hobby, let's say. The place where I live, I don't have many options to compete here, and with the situation right now in the world and not being able to travel, all the competitions are on the side. But that doesn't discourage me not to train. I love to train. That's basically what I love to do. The competitions are just the aftermath to show off the physique, the skills that I managed to gain. So, like I said, this year I hope to compete in India again, but unfortunately we are where we are. So if the situation gets better, probably next year. Next year, most
Are the
probably.
gyms right now closed there? Gyms closed in your place? Gyms are closed in your place there?
No, the gyms are opened. We opened the gyms, I think 2 months ago. Yeah, just 2 months ago. But the problem is that we don't have competitions. I live in the Middle East. It's an Arab country. So when it comes to bodybuilding competitions, they don't have women categories. Last year was the first year that they had women categories, but it was only bikini. So if I want to compete, I have to travel. That's for sure. And I would really want to compete again in India, and get my pro card. That would be the goal for the next 2 to 3 years.
So Nika, like, I should bring up this topic because we talked about it, right? So what is this whole thing about broccoli and Nutella? I was thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah. All right. So, well, my people know me, that I did all my preps with chocolate. So that's the only thing I will not give up. I will not give up even if I'm competing. I will not give up my chocolate. So everyone's making fun of it now that I can balance it really well. And if I'm craving chocolate, I'm just gonna put it on broccoli. Because we know how bodybuilders live. It's like chicken, broccoli, and rice, right? No, I do chicken and broccoli and a little bit of Nutella on top. Follow me for more recipes. Yeah. No, joke aside, I don't put Nutella on broccoli. I'm not a mental case, but I did all my preps with chocolate until the
I was
last.
like really thinking like how would that taste? Like I want to really get a review of that. If someone is watching this interview and wants to try this, go follow Nika and also get some more recipes from her. Ask her to give out some recipes. She's I think really good at it.
Thank you so much. And don't put Nutella on your broccoli. It's waste of Nutella, okay?
Actually, someone should try that. I think it will taste good. I think like the broccoli has a little bit taste. Adding that with Nutella, I think it will taste really good. Like they can try it.
Hey, if you come up with some recipes, if you come up with some recipes, don't forget to mention me. It's my recipe. Thank you so much for this interview.
It was a lovely interview with Nika. And if you have watched this to the full, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, and go follow Nika. She has a great channel. She has a great page there. Highly encourage you to follow her.
Thank you so much. I wish you have a great weekend. And thank you for this interview.
Thank you, Nika.
A tiger. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
superstar. Superstar.